Hey tribe, welcome back to my channel. Ke nna Mmapalo Makwi, a personal finance expert and published author of the book, You Are Not Broke, You Are Pre-Rich. So today is not going to be long at all. The reason for my video today is I read an article, I think about last week, that Simon Brown wrote. He has a website called Just One Lab, and he was basically showing calculations on the benefits and how much of a powerful tool a tax-free savings account is. Okay, so again, this is my love letter to tax-free savings accounts and also showing you the importance of a tax-free savings account and how to use it and not how to use it, right? So first things first, if you haven't been here, but even if you've been here, you've heard me talk about a tax-free savings account. This is just reiteration of information, making sure that every single person subscribed to this channel has a tax-free savings account, that their kids have a tax-free savings account, that your partner has a tax-free savings account, that anybody that you love and is in your life, that they have a tax-free savings account, okay? So a tax-free savings account was introduced by the government in 2015 as a way to encourage more South Africans to start saving. So what are the benefits of a tax-free savings account? Number one, you pay zero taxes on a tax-free savings account. As long as you are under that vehicle, that structure, there is no tax. So no income tax, no dividend withholding tax, no capital gains tax whatsoever. So think about it this way, because, I was talking to someone and said, I hear you talking about all of these things, but what does it actually mean? So I want you to think of a bonus that you get, right? So your company tells you, oh, you are going to get a bonus of 50,000. You agree with me that you are not going to get 50,000 rand in your pocket. Why? Because the taxman always wants something. The taxman will take a little bit and say, this portion belongs to me. So if you invest in a tax-free savings vehicle, whenever you withdraw that money, there is zero tax on it, okay? And I know someone on TikTok said, oh, how that's impossible. Why would money ever be tax-free? I said, hey, go read up on this information. But literally, that's what it is, that you invest for a long period of time. Then after that, when you say, oh, I want these funds into my bank account, this taxman says, okay, enjoy your funds, all right? And I think for me, that brings me to my second point. How not to use a tax-free savings account. You do not use a tax savings account as a normal savings account, as a short-term type of savings account. As I've always said, and I keep on saying, the way that you're going to see the real benefits of a tax-free savings account is that you invest for the long term, preferably by maxing out what you can contribute in a tax-free savings account. So what is it that you can contribute? What are the maximums? The maximum is 36,000 Rand per year. You cannot contribute more than 36,000 Rand in a tax-free savings account, okay? And I have had some people say, oh no, but that's such a small amount. And with the calculation that I'm going to show you, you will see why I say over a long period of time, that compounding growth that we're actually looking for. So 36,000 Rand per year, meaning that the maximum that you can contribute every month is 3,000 Rand. And as I've always said, even if you don't have that maximum, even if you're someone who says, oh, but I only have 500 bucks, a tax-free savings account is for you as well. Even if it's 200 bucks, I know some companies do allow a contribution of 200 Rand, but do not let that limit go away. So every single year you can contribute up to 36,000 Rand. So even if you've contributed half, that's still perfectly fine. Because what happens, sometimes people say, oh, if this year things are not that great, but next year I'll double that contribution. You can't. In 1 year, the maximum, very maximum that you can contribute into your tax-free savings account is only 36,000 Rand. So even if you're not able to max it out, get to the 36,000 Rand, any bit goes a long way. All right. Then the other maximum is that you are able to contribute 500,000 Rand into a tax-free savings account in your lifetime, meaning that the amount of money that's going to come from your own pocket or from your bank account is 500,000. So what you are going to put into that investment vehicle, into that tax-free savings account, is up to 500,000 rand only. So if you say 500,000 rand divided by 36,000 rand, it gives you 13 point something something. I'm looking for my calculator here, I can't see it. But that gives you the number of years you will reach this lifetime limit of 500,000. So if you round it off, it's about 14 years. So in 14 years, if you contribute the very maximum, you would have contributed 500,000 rand. 500,000 rand, right? And I think what I want you also to get away with, and I say this so many times, when you start talking about 10 years, 15 years, people think, oh my goodness, that is so far. Guys, time is moving by so quickly. Today is the 3rd of June. I remember very well when I had just moved to Cape Town in January. Time will pass either way. Is it going to pass with you with a couple of millions in your investments, or you're going to complain and say, oh, well, no, 10 years is too long. We blink and 10 years has passed, okay? So make sure that as the 10 years, as the 15 years passes, you actually have something to show for it. All right, so that's a tax-free savings account. That's the benefits, no tax. Those are the limits that I've given you. Now, I want to say this with the calculations that I'm going to show you. Remember, with a tax-free savings account, you can open it under your own children's name, right? And when they get to 18, they can decide, oh, I'm going to blow this money. And that is why I think it's so important as families, as parents, to talk about money with our children. Because yes, you're building something for them, but if it gets into the hands that know nothing about personal finance, that know nothing about money, they are going to take a look at it and think, oh my goodness, I can just go blow this money. Whereas if you are involving them with budgeting at home, if you're teaching them about compounding interest, you're teaching them about living below their means, you're teaching them about starting businesses, you're teaching them about taxes, then when they do realize that they do have this money, for them it will mean, oh, okay, yeah, I know that money, I'm going to leave it there until it compounds, and perhaps I can leave it for my retirement, which is exactly what Simon Brown has shown here in this calculation. So another thing that we should be doing as parents, as part of leaving a legacy, is not just money, but teaching our children about money. Okay, so I'm going to show you this brilliant calculation on how, if you just leave your tax-free savings account money, tax-free savings investments. I actually don't like the name, as like I always say, because when you think about a tax-free savings account, you're thinking, oh, maybe it's just a normal transactional account. It's something that it's not for emergencies. It's not for short term. Think about it as a long-term investment, okay? So let's go with what Simon has said. So Simon did a calculation and said, well, if you have a child today, right, and you have their birth certificate, you go to an asset management company, right? Remember, one of the things I keep on stressing about is if you are going to invest in a tax-free savings investment vehicle, make sure that it is with an asset management company. And who are asset managers? We're talking about your Allen Gray, your Coronation, your Precinct, Cedric Signia, Stanlib, 91, or Investec. Those are asset management companies. And yes, I know it's easier to do it with your bank on your phone, but you are earning simple interest to them. What you want for your long-term investments is that you want to be invested in the market where you can get compound growth, okay? So you're not going to put your money with your tax-free savings account in a bank, okay, with an asset management company. So let's say your child is just born and you have their birth certificate. You want to start them off in life, right? And you decide, you know what, I have about 36,000 rand right now that, I don't really touch. Maybe you got a bonus and you do that once off contribution of 36,000 rand only, and you don't put an extra cent in that investment, right? And your child says also, you know what, I am 18, I know about money, I'm comfortable, I know why my parents have done this for me. Maybe I'll get it when I'm 30. But they get to 30 also, they decide, you know what, I don't really need this money. I'm working, I'm okay, but perhaps the money that my parents invested for me can go towards my retirement planning. Okay, so remember, you as a parent, the only amount that you put was 36,000 rand once off. And your child, because they're smart, you've taught them about money, they decide to leave that amount until they are 65 years old. At the age of 65, at the age of 65, your child will have almost 3 million rand. I even did the calculation on another calculator, right? Okay, here it's in dollars, but you get the gist, right? 36%. And we're saying you leave it until 36,000 rand rather, and they leave it until the age of 65 and a real return of 7%, and boom, 2.9 million, 2.925. So almost 3 million from you just having contributed 36,000 rand once of contribution for your child, and they also decide to leave those funds until the age of 65. All right. So that is powerful. That is exactly what we're talking about when we talk about compound growth. But we don't know compound growth because we are just not patient. We just think, oh no, goodness, that's too long. But this is how you build wealth, and build wealth easily. Okay? All right. Then he goes on further to say, what if that very same child, you take their birth certificate, you open a tax-free savings investment with an asset management company. But this time around, instead of just putting that 36,000 rand, you max it out every single year. So you want to reach that lifetime limit of 500,000, right? So you contribute, and it's about 14 years later, you've maxed it out, and even then, you leave it. Then your child also turns a specific age and they decide, you know what, I'm going to leave this money, I'm all right, I'm going to leave it so that it is my retirement plan. So instead of contributing to my pension fund or contributing to a retirement annuity, I'm going to leave these funds that my parents have contributed in my tax-free savings account and leave it until I am 65. Do you know how much that money is going to be? 27 million rand. 27 million rand. And all completely tax-free. All right? So again, a real return of 7%, it will be 27 million rand. And you will still be keeping your purchasing power. And let's just put it into context. So let's say then your child is at 65 and they decide, yes, this is my retirement money. They haven't saved a penny towards retirement before, but all from the 500,000 that you contributed for 14 years, they leave those funds investing, earning compound growth and compounding on top of compounding. And at the age of 65, they say, all right, I'm retiring, I have 27 million rand. That money is completely 100% tax-free. So the taxman doesn't want even a cent of that money. And I think if you can just grasp the importance, how powerful actually a tax-free savings investment is, this is where it lies. In that whatever you have accumulated over a long period of time is completely tax-free. Yes, of course, if you take out your funds when they are sitting at 300,000, you won't really see how powerful this instrument is. So now let's say your child at the age of 65, because now this is their retirement plan, they don't take out the funds, right, out of the tax-free savings account It remains in that vehicle because it's protected. The taxman won't touch it. And they say, I'm going to apply the 4% rule. So the 4% rule says it is the drawdown percentage that you can take of your money in the first year so that your money lasts at least for 30 years. And you take 4% of that every year. Well, it grows by inflation the following year, but that is R1,000,000 that you'll be throwing down completely tax-free. That is just like a crazy gift that you'll be giving to your children. But again, I reiterate, make sure that your children are comfortable talking about money, they know about investments. You are teaching them this thing so that they don't look at that money and think that that is money to blow. But even then, even if they were not to wait for until the age of 65, let's say 55, that would still be a lot of money. So what could that mean for you? Yes, we're talking about kids and their retirement, but for me, how I look at my retirement plan is, yes, I do have a retirement annuity, but I max out my tax-free savings account every single year, and I know I will not touch these funds. The problem that a lot of people face is that they lack discipline. And because with a tax-free savings account, it's accessible, you can get the funds quickly. Most people, when they have, they want a holiday or they want just a little bit of enjoyment, or like, oh my gosh, let me pay this thing, they go to the tax-free savings account. And that's not the way to use it. You want to be disciplined enough to keep it until at least for 15 years, as I always say. But for mine, I know it's even more than 15 years. It's at least another 20 years. And I started mine a while back. They started in 2015. I think I started mine 3 years later. And even then, I was not using it right. I would keep on saying, oh, no, let me take it a little bit. But once it finally clicked and I saw the numbers and I saw what it could mean for my future, I left that baby alone. So I think this video truly is just a reminder again why a tax-free savings account is important. If you don't have one and you have any other investment, please go make sure that you open a tax-free savings account today, not just for yourself, but for your kids and everybody that you do love. All right. I hope this video was useful. If you like the videos, please remember to subscribe, remember to like, and also share with those that are close to you and that you want to see thriving as well. Until next time, see you soon.